Hello, 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 welcome back to another trek through the dungeon. I present to you the continuing adventures of Pugg as he treks through the dungeon. Where last we left off, I was making inroads into the vaults and doing so quite well. Finesse is at 14% fail. I've switched to armor dodging because, quite frankly, 21 in maces and flails is making my minus 180% giant spike club swing at quite fast speed. So that's probably pretty close to adequate. Armor training is so that I can eventually wear dragon armor without fail, and I will eventually turn on those weapon trainings again at some point, but best to get my defenses up since I'm taking a lot of damage now. And I don't know why fighting was turned off. That probably was for invocation's sake, and it's a mistake. I need to max fighting on this guy. Next floor of the vaults reveals a bunch of stuff, including water, probable projectile attacks from the Cyclops, probable lightning attacks from here. I'm going to probably take about 100 points of damage in 5 turns, or 4 turns. That should be enough time to kill the jellyfish and pull the Cyclops. 1, 2, 3, grab the rock. Grab the rock. 4, 5. I miscalculated. The Cyclops is not in fact coming for a pull because it is throwing rocks instead. Oh crap! I forgot about my weight limitation. Quickly using a potion of might, as it's the only way I'm ever going to be able to get out of here in a timely fashion. And how bad, how bad. I am still alive, that's the important thing. We're going to drop... No, we're going to start flinging the rocks ASAP to lose some weight. And that should kill them all. Okay, great. Yeah, that was a incredibly short-sighted move on my part, picking up those rocks. I'm very, very surprised I made that mistake, and thank God I remembered I had a potion of might I could use, rather than trying to drop them again, which would have taken several turns when I was under attack. Alright, we're going to need to eat something pretty soon, but if we can get these guys to stand by the river's edge, could be some free kills. Nothing that left a corpse, unfortunately. At least not where I could get it. Alright, you can ignore that, please. Hurl rocks right back at this meatbag's direction. Heal up and head into the fray. No meat. Man, I said it before, I'll say it again. It is a good thing I wasn't running a mage. I'd be restricted to pretty much one book at this point of the game, and already at floor 18. I think I guess the Book of Clouds might have Poison Cloud in it or something. No, but that's Book of Dreams, not Book of Clouds. Sorry, if you'll forgive the indulgence. Necromancy. So I could have been running Animate Dead, Animate Skeleton, and Regen, which would have been reasonable. To a point, at least. Maledictions would have given me the ability to go full-out Stabber, and I could clear the lair with just stabbing, assuming I had a character that was adequate for training that. Shadow Creatures plus EH again. Nothing here that really is going to win for you alone. And Animate Skeleton. Yeah, this would have been a damn hard game to play as a mage. Although, most likely, if I was playing a mage, I would be playing a mage of Sifmuna or Vehumet. Either of whom would have given me some kind of spell that I was using by now. So, you know, there's always the other side of things to consider. Oh, for the love of Pete. You will come closer to the river's edge before I fight you. And then... Nope. No food. No idea what this potion is. We'll ID it. Potion of slowing. Thank you very much. Needles of sickness. I now have enough needle types that I can probably do a lot of cool stuff with needles. Have to eat for hunger's sake. Jesus Christ. Trading blows with a centaur, damn, took half my health. And Okawara's like, hey, don't walk all the way over there to pick up rocks. I'll send them directly on top of you. New book. We'll see what that is. Only spells I'm interested in at this point are going to be level 1 and level 2 spells. Even level 2 is probably pushing it, but level 1 is certainly useful. Alright, you know what? Just because, and I want to be very clear on this, just because of how often I've wished I had the ability to fly for a few seconds and couldn't, I'm going to memorize flight. I don't perceive this as ever actually getting used or being useful, but, you know, maybe it will. That's a centaur corpse, which we will sacrifice because I just ate a ration. You can ignore anything you can't pick up, it's fine. Start hurling rocks at things. And let these guys come a bit closer so I can just start walloping them. Sacrifice. Finesse is at 11. I think finesse of 11 is probably adequate, so we're just retreating from the massive projectiles, making sure we've got a safe door to hide behind to do this to them. Same thing. It's always a risky prospect to go too far into the unknown. You never know what you're going to face, and here at least I'm more likely than not going to be covered for whatever's coming. That guy can paralyze me. Let's get nice and out of range before he attempts it. And of course, peg the guy who's attacking from behind. Hey, wouldn't you know it? It's another rock gift. Yes, ignore whatever you can't pick up. That's fine. And to think that at one point I was concerned about having to throw large rocks after a mer person. Wait, that dig beetle may have just dug them out. Jesus Christ, I can't fight any of that. Much less all of that. And the dig beetle did just dig them out. I'm about to get set upon by a massive army, the like of which I can't take all at once. Hell, I don't even have a single resist. Okay, there's shapeshifters as well in that army. That makes everything better. Or no, wait, it doesn't. It makes everything significantly worse. What the fuck? Let's use penetration javelins and make sure that we kill off the shadow dragon. Okay, the shadow dragon is at near full health. This would be a good time to go heroism and finesse, which I've been training specifically, and just pound the crap out of it. Stone giant with boulders, that's fine. Focus on using the penetration javelins on the whole army. Okay, pound this thing in the head, and it is down. What was the gift? 8 javelins of returning. Very nice. You picked a hell of a time, but you know, whatever, Oku, that's fine. Of course, you were going to pick this time. And now we're going to switch to the Wand of Cold, because that's what's going to... Oh, wait, that's a shapeshifter? Excellent. Charge it down while it's still an alligator. Okay, now the problem I'm having is that Storm Dragon, if it's a real Storm Dragon, is going to be lethal, because I have no electric resistance. I have no time to deal with it right now. I am going to have to run for it. I'm out in the open. No choice but to either blink or fog. Blink is more valuable. I would rather save it. Fog has a small chance of not providing enough cover. But given how tight this hall is, I'm pretty sure it would give me enough cover. But what if the dragon just shoots blind? Then I'm fucked. So I am going to blink, because I have 3 blink scrolls, but only 1 life. And fog behind me. A bolt shoots out and hits you, you die. You mean a fucking trap? Oh, god damn it! A bolt trap kills me. And not just any bolt trap, a bolt trap that I could have ignored in any other circumstance but this one. Fuck. Okay, well that sucks. And it's unlikely that I'm gonna get... I mean, I could have trained traps more, I suppose, since I'm very used to playing characters for whom traps is an afterthought, and I usually mock at training traps because, let's be honest, I don't really need to. If a character is that robust, he's not going to die to a trap. But this guy is wearing poor level armor with no health, and is forced to run at low health constantly. Maybe with an ogre I should have trained traps, I don't know. Certainly, being able to use my invocations right when I did for finesse was very helpful. So I'm not convinced that I needed those points in traps instead. But at the same time, traps is what killed me in the end. I didn't have to stand and fight that army of 5 folk, but I figured I'd be able to disengage with relative safety, and I disengaged quite well. I originally thought when it said bolt, you were hit by a bolt, I was like, somehow I got electric bolted despite all of my chicanery. I think what pisses me off the most is that I blinked and was fine, then fogged and died. As opposed to, you know, blink, fine, and then, or blink and died. Although that, no matter how you slice it, this just literally just feels like the die rolled and I got killed. I could have played it safer, but I did not, and I should have been okay with the level of safety I did play it at. So, not really sure what to make of it. I will say this, based on the early game that I played this game, I'm quite confident that I can get an Ogre through the lair and the Orcish mines, and I do believe, quite frankly, that I wouldn't... This game was abnormal in just how much it screwed me over for getting good armors. I got a Fire Dragon armor on Troll Leather, but I should have gotten the Troll Leather way earlier than I did, which would have been nice because I would have had 4 AC instead of just been using a Robe of Resist Negative the entire time. This game I also had the luxury of Swiftness, which allowed me to be a little bolder than I normally can be. That's not a luxury you're going to get every game. Frankly, that's not a luxury you're going to get most games as an Ogre. But haste can make up for that, I guess. But yeah, it would have been nice to have some basic utility spells. Blink, Repel Missiles comes to mind. Didn't get either of those. Learned a lot about playing an Ogre through this one too, though. I will definitely say this. I do not think Ogres are a good or strong race by any stretch of imagination. I believe they have sufficient, not excellent mind you, sufficient power early game that they can get through it. And I do believe that after a point, they basically devolve into playing like any other melee bruiser does. Lots of health, really good with your primary weapon, know when to approach fights, know when to avoid fights. Either a little bit of magic to assist you in fighting, or a few good evocation skills, but primarily you're focused on, can I kill it? If not, berserk, do I hide behind doors, etc. If I'm going to make a real bid for beating the game as an Ogre, I owe it to myself to try an Ogre Berserker, because at the end of the day, Berserker does everything that I did. Think realistically about every time I used Okuwaru's benefits this game, and you'll quickly realize that I used Okuwaru functionally for two things. I need to go Super Saiyan serious to win this fight, and I need a rock refuel. Please give me some more rocks. Well, Trog does both of those things. The only gifts that Okuwaru gave me this game that actually were of any use... In fact, let's go ahead and pull up the score so I can show... Was he like 20th place? So he should be somewhere here. Wow, Pugg is actually in my top 20. That's pretty goddamn impressive. But yeah, the only things that Trog really did... or Oka really did for me were my cap, which I didn't need because it was a +0 and it was an int cap. Average amount of luck means you're going to get a cap somewhere in the dungeon. And Cloak of Preservation, which, while admittedly nice, I already had a Cloak of Magic Resist, which, quite frankly, got the job done at least as well for my purposes. I just like the Cloak of Preservation more. Either of those are the items that you can hope to get in an ordinary run of Dungeon Crawl. So really, I was using Okuwaru for things that Trog does a better job of. Now, this does admit, going Oka does leave your faith options open, or sorry, your magic options open. Truth. But at the same time, the whole dungeon had no goddamn books this game, and I managed just fine. So, a serious attempt at winning with an Ogre, probably we should just go Ogre Berserker. The problem I have with doing that is, and I want to be very clear here, let's count my top 20, or like this first page of worth of wins, right? Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so out of some 30 characters that have gotten far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like a full third of them are Berserkers. I know how to play a Berserker pretty blindly. I could probably play a Spriggan Berserker and manage to pull that combo off for a long time. So getting really far as a Berserker wouldn't feel quite as good as doing it you know, as something unique or interesting or different. That said, my Berserkers usually end up pure melee specialists, so, you know, being able to do the hybrid thrower slash melee would be interesting to work with, regardless. So that's what it comes down to at this point. Ogre Berserker. I could run Ogre Hunter again and try and do the same thing twice, but unless I can find a better use for my God slot, I'm not, or my magic stuffs, I'm not convinced that's the way to go. And then there's the completely other idea. What about going Ogre Mage? What if I try and go ranged specialist Ogre who uses throwing to get through the early to mid game because it'll take a long time to accrue the spell EXP, and then focus on building up my magics for blowing stuff up, and basically use my HP as a tanking tool to survive. It's certainly a possibility. Anyway, I talked a lot because this video ended up being a hell of a lot shorter than I expected. I did not expect to die that badly and that suddenly and that bullshittily. As a rule of thumb, when I have blink scrolls, I feel invincible for a reason. I can immediately set myself right in most combat situations. But sometimes you just teleport onto a trap. That happens. That's why traps and darts helps. Anyway, that's the end of the vid for now. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.